You can sense the intensity as they await the arrival of the Tennessee team here at Neyland Stadium. The #1 undefeated Volunteers prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
What's going on, Vol fans? What's up, SEC fans? I tell you what, that was one of the most pathetic performances I've seen in a long time. 20 yards rushing. You know, we had a better offensive output against Alabama than we did against Charlotte. You know, a lot of people were saying it's going to be a fairly close game, but Tennessee should be able to handle things. Well, I wasn't buying it. I thought we should have been up at least 28-0 at halftime. We punted way too many times. If it wasn't for Callaway getting that punt return for a touchdown, we'd only had one offensive touchdown. But it's just pitiful, as Adam Bumgardner said. I don't know where we go from here. I mean, Kentucky has got a great defense. If we think we're going to play like that against Kentucky and win, we've got another thing coming. And I've been Mr. Rogers' neighborhood on here, pep talking my Vols, but I can't do it today. This is one of the most pathetic, inept, pedestrian offensive performances. We couldn't run the ball to save our life. I remember we played Ole Miss 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't even know if we got a yard rushing. But that's Ole Miss. That's not Charlotte. But anyway, the phone lines are open. Anybody wants to call in, I say I got a couple of them calling in. All the good callers are going to get a free Volunteer Roadshow t-shirt. And I want to hear from you guys. This channel's built on you, the fans. And y'all mean an awful lot to me. I don't care who you root for. You mean a lot. I see we got Alan V's in here. Georgia won the East. They disposed of Kentucky. I knew that was going to happen. I tell you what, Kentucky, I don't know what Kentucky's going to show up next week, and we'll find out now that they can't win the East. Who knows? But anyway, I wasn't very happy. We've got to win 2 out of the last 3, and the way Missouri shellacked Florida, I don't know if the game's over. I'll look on my phone here. I don't even know that Missouri was beating the tar out of Florida in Gainesville at the Swamp earlier when I looked. I'm gonna look here real quick, see how that turned out. I'm sure. Yeah. Let's see. I guess the game's over. I don't see it in my feed anymore. 38-17. I tell you what, Florida, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Congratulations to Georgia. I've got a ton of Georgia fans. Truth be told, I probably got as many Georgia fans that watch me as I do Tennessee fans. Yeah, we're rivals. I don't want y'all to win any games, but I love you guys as the fans, and that's what makes college football so great. So I'm going to go to the phone lines and see what we got here. We're going to go to Aaron in Maryville. Let's see what he's got to say. And I want to hear from you guys. You're on with Catfish. What you got, buddy?
Hey, I agree with everything you said about how terrible of an offensive performance that was. And all due respect to Charlotte, but our offensive line is ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's high school football time here in the East Tennessee for the playoffs, and I was at the Maryville Rebels football game last night, and their offensive line is better than this Tennessee offensive line. There is no reason that anybody on this offensive line that is playing tonight should be playing in any team in the SEC, except maybe Vanderbilt. But it's ridiculous. I saw at one point, I don't remember if this was the third quarter or the fourth quarter, but they said that we had -3 rushing yards.
Yeah, we didn't get out of the negative until either that last drive we had. I heard Tim Priest on the radio. I was listening to it on the radio, and he said we finally got out of the negative. That's just uncalled for. That's just, I tell you, I can't believe. I know Trey Smith, and I wish him well. I know he's a great lineman, but there can't be that much of a drop off between Trey Smith and our next best offensive lineman. And how many times did we run the ball on first down and get stuffed every single time? And they ran on us quite well, and it's just disgusting. But
I was surprised to see how well they ran against us. I thought that over the course of this season, one of Tennessee's better attributes on defense was their run defense, especially since it's not the secondary. And that makes me really worried about going up against Kentucky next week, because Kentucky's offense is built to run the ball.
Yeah.
I think that if Tennessee can stop Kentucky on the ground, then they'll have a chance to win that game, because I don't think Kentucky's offense is built for passing the ball down the field.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Tennessee's offensive line can't do better, when you look at this game and you take away the punt return by Callaway, which was beautiful, but when you take that away, Tennessee won this game 7-3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's embarrassing. You know, like I said, all due respect to Charlotte, they played hard. They got a good football team. I'm sure they'll go to a bowl game this year. But we're in the SEC, and there's no reason that a CUSA team should be able to come to Neyland Stadium and have that kind of success against an SEC team.
Yeah, we had the crowd there. It was homecoming. I mean, I'm listening to it on the radio, and I'm like, I couldn't even hear the crowd like I normally do when I'm listening to it. I don't know, maybe they didn't have the mics right, but I tell you what, it was just pathetic. And anyway, hey, send me your name and address to Volunteer Roadshow at Gmail. I'm going to make this a short call. And do you have anything else for me? If not, I'm going to grab a couple of calls.
I'll just say that congratulations on your new truck, and looking forward to seeing what can happen next week.
Yep, we got Kentucky.
And to this Alabama-LSU game.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm hurrying to get off. I want to listen to that. That's going to be a great game. Do you have a prediction on that? Alabama's favored by 14.5. I said on my college show yesterday that I said I felt like LSU would cover, but Alabama would win the game. How do you feel about it?
Honestly, I've been hearing everybody talking about how this game is going to be close and how LSU has a chance to win. I just haven't seen anything out of LSU this season that makes me think that they can beat Alabama. I think Alabama is the best Alabama team that I have ever seen, and I don't think LSU can stop their offense, especially in the first half. Alabama comes out swinging. LSU, I forget his name, but they're missing one of their best defensive players for the first half of this game, and I don't think that LSU will be able to slow down Alabama's offense enough. But if they can force some turnovers on Tua, then I think that they'll have a chance.
Yeah. Well, we need to get us some offensive linemen. That's all there is to it. But anyway, I appreciate your call, buddy.
Yes, sir. You have a great one.
I got a super chat from Shane Bentley. I believe that's the second one he's given me this year. I really, really appreciate it. Congratulations, Shane, on your Bulldogs taking care of Kentucky. I hope you softened them up for us, because if you didn't soften them up, we're going to have problems next week. But anyway, let me hear from you guys. I got Matthew, one of my buddies on Facebook, calling in. Let's see what he's got got from North Takalaki. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Catfish?
Not much. How about you?
Man, it's poor performance, man.
Yeah.
It's poor performance.
I was saying earlier.
He got hit. Go ahead, man.
I was saying earlier it was one of the worst rushing performances I've seen in a long time. What was the final stats? 20 yards rushing. We didn't even get out of the negative until late in the fourth quarter. I mean, good grief. You know, I've been Mr. Rogers' neighborhood on here with my team, but I've got to call them out, and I'm calling them out. I'm calling out the coaching staff. I mean, we've got big, strong kids. I mean, these kids are, you know, they're bigger than me. I mean, surely they can block and get a yard or two. But anyway, what else did you see with the game, and what do you think about next week with Kentucky?
Next week with Kentucky, man, if they can't stop the run, then I don't know. If they can't contain the run, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to hit the recruiting trail and get us some offensive linemen, because it's just not. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was. 14-3? That's just against Charlotte at Neyland Stadium. Yeah, that's just not. No. And like I just said, poor performance, man.
Yeah, poor performance. I say Billy Cole just commented Charlotte is number 6 against the run in the nation. I don't know who all they're playing to get to that ranking. We should have been able to run the ball.
Yeah.
We should have been able to run the ball.
We should have.
And I don't know, do you think it was the play calling, some of it, or do you think it was just strictly the offensive line? I don't think we were calling the plays that would be good plays to call with the offensive line we had.
I think it's a combination of both, man. The plays, and then just not having the right guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I feel it went. But I mean, our defense kind of showed up there a little bit.
Yeah, we showed up a little bit, but I come back to this is Charlotte. It was aggravating me. Priest and Kessling were saying that this Lachey, or whatever his name is, the running back for Charlotte, could play for anybody in the SEC. I'm not buying that. I know they're supposed to say good things about the opposing team or make our deficiencies not so glaring, but I tell you what, if they could run it, why couldn't we run it? And our tackling still needs a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work.
Oh yeah. If we're gonna make it the rest of the season, there needs to be a complete 180 flip.
Yeah.
Something's got to happen.
Something.
If we're gonna make it, because what Missouri did down there in Gainesville, I don't know.
I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. Is that game even over yet?
I think it is. I don't know. 38. I don't know what the final score is, but I know they hung 38 on them.
Well, I know Ohio State barely got by a really, really bad Nebraska team. And look out, Big Ten, here comes Michigan. I had them picked before the season to win the Big Ten, and they put a butt whooping on Penn State. I mean, it was, I don't know what the final score is. It was, it's 42-7. And Penn State's a decent ball club. So, I don't know. Delusional Paul, he's probably a little embarrassed to be on here today. But anyway. So what else you got for me? You got anything else? What do you think about next week or the rest of the season with Missouri? I mean, Missouri's doing what they did last year. Last year, you know, they couldn't get out of their own way the first half of the season. And the second half of the season, they came on. They're finding their own. I still think we're going to a dang bowl game. I don't care. We got to win 2 more. And you know the old saying, a win's a win. I'm not buying that this week. I don't think a win's a win. We got a lot to work on.
Issues, man. Yeah, there's some issues. I mean, like I said, that game shouldn't have been as close as it was.
Yeah.
You know, you take away that touchdown on special teams, it would have been, like you said, it would have been 7-3.
Yeah. Well, anyway, buddy,
You know,
have you gotten a T-shirt yet? Did you get one yesterday? I think you sent me your information, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm sure it's on its way.
We'll send it to you. So anyway, thanks for calling. I'm going to grab this call if we don't have any more, and then I'm going to cut it short because I know everybody wants to go watch the Corn Dogs and the Gumps.
Oh,
so.
yeah. That's going to be a game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a game.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
You have a good night.
All right. See you. Bye.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Bye.
All right. We're going to go to the 706. Let's see what he's got. You're on with Catfish.
What's going on, Catfish fishing with Tiny?
Hey,
what's going on, Catfish fishing with Tiny Bassin?
How are you doing down there in Panama City? You back in Panama City?
Not yet. I'm visiting my mother down at the cancer center in Gainesville.
How's she doing?
Just got done. She's doing a little infusion treatment right now, so y'all just keep her in your prayers. She's still fighting. It's been about 6 months now since liver cancer, so. But she's fighting.
Well, tell me how your dog. How do you felt your dogs did today? I saw that they beat Kentucky pretty good. How do you feel about their performance?
Yeah,
do you think Cheney is back in calling some good plays? I didn't watch any of your game.
Well, we had a pretty good game, I tell you what. But the problem is we had another freaking goal line stand that we couldn't punch it in from the half-yard line. That drives me crazy. It had Kirby all fired up on the sideline. But I tell you, if you want, y'all play Kentucky next week, right?
Yep, Neyland Stadium. We got them at home.
Well, if y'all want a recipe on how to beat Kentucky,
tell me.
They need to be watching our highlights, watching our game today. Kentucky came in with I think it was the number 1 Russian defense, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my Bulldogs put on 300 and almost 50-something yards rushing, season highs. We had 2 go over 100 yards, one 160-something yards, one, I forget. 247 yards between Holyfield and Swift. Swift having 2 touchdowns for 150-something, and Holyfield having a touchdown for 100 and I don't know what. And then Harrion got in the mix. I mean, we was running up and down the field on them.
And this is hard to listen to. This is hard to listen to. All these numbers you're putting up. You know how many yards we had rushing for the whole team, for the whole game? It was negative rushing yards all the way up in the late and fourth quarter. So this is hard to listen to.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of the game, but I was listening on the show. Y'all said y'all had, 20 by the end of the game?
Yeah, 20 yards rushing against Charlotte. Pathetic.
Well, this is with a beat-up offensive line we did this with, though. We had already a couple players out, and then our center got put out early, Lamont Gilliard. Well, a freshman came in. He caused 2 bad snaps, causing fumbles by their star player over there, Josh Allen or whatever, recovered the fumbles. Well, we still ended up, holding their, Benny Snell. We held him to 70 yards. I think it's probably the, worst performance he's had all year, our defense did. But our offensive line, we ended up getting our center hurt. Well, then Cade Mays, out of Tennessee,
yeah,
he'd been playing for an injured player. He's been playing for Ben Cleveland. Well, he gets put out, so we had a Kendall Baker come back in here. We have probably the most injured offensive line in the nation, and we was able to do that in Kentucky. So if y'all want a recipe for how to beat Kentucky, watch this game plan.
Well, the way we played today, we could have the recipe and all the ingredients and still couldn't bake that cake and beat Kentucky. We're going to have to get it together. We're going to have a great week of practice. But I've got one more call, Fishing for Tiny Bassin, and everybody go sub him up. He'll make a comment here in the comment section, and we'll be praying for your mother and all the people in your community. They can get back to normal life after that hurricane, and I really appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in, buddy.
All right. Thank you, and God bless Catfish, and go Dogs. We win the East. Can't wait to see y'all beat Kentucky next week.
I hope so. Thank you, buddy. Well, we're going to
No
go.
problem. Take it easy.
We're going to go to Big Dog Brett, and for those of you that don't know him, he's got a great YouTube channel. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm having a pretty good day today, man. How you doing so far?
Well, they say a win's a win, but today I don't feel like we won the game. I mean, 20 yards rushing, pathetic. And if we play Kentucky next week like we played Charlotte this week, we're going to get beat. That's all there is to it. We're going to get beat. So tell me how your game went and what you got for me. Any news across the SEC? I just was listening to my game. I didn't get a chance to. I caught some scores. I can't believe Missouri beat up on Florida. Of course, Couch Coach called that yesterday.
I think Florida kind of gave up once Georgia went out there and kind of destroyed the rest of their season. Once they lost to Georgia, it just seems like the team was pretty deflated. I watched the Colorado game last night, but that was actually a really good back and forth game. Some lower division schools, but watching back and forth today with the Texas game. I don't know if you guys watched that either with West Virginia.
No. Who won? Man, I saw it was really close. Who ended up winning that game?
Believe it or not, West Virginia had under 2 minutes to go down and score a touchdown. They scored a touchdown, and it was 40-41, and they go for a 2-point conversion, and there was some drama that happened there between the first snap, second snap, and the final snap, but they ended up getting a 2-point conversion and won the game. And you could just tell that Texas's coach really looked unprepared for that game, even though it was such a high-scoring game. They really struggled. But I did want to say that, I kind of watched some of the Tennessee game, and it really looked like Stroud was very aggressive and physical up front. And I kind of think that Tennessee almost took for granted that they're going to be able to roll over Charlotte, which you should have. But at the end of in my opinion, it's a huge pat on the back to you guys. If you can say, well, we only had 70 yards rushing, 20 yards rushing, 50 yards rushing, and we still beat you. Yeah. We had our worst rushing game ever, and we still beat you. To me, that speaks a lot to the heart of that team. So, I mean, don't beat yourself too bad about it. I mean, that was tough to watch, but it's good to know that losing is like that.
I'm trying to look at the bright side. I'm normally pretty positive on my channel, but our offensive line it's pathetic, and that's putting it mildly. Got another super chat from Shane Bentley. Appreciate it, buddy. Hey, while you're on here, I'm gonna before I go, I'm only got a few more minutes. I'm gonna do some shout outs. John Neal's always in here. Valerie Griner, a great Georgia Bulldog fan. Like I said, most of the people that watch me lately is Georgia fans. But anyway, Matt7397 says we should have won 41-3. You're exactly right. SEC Dog, another great Georgia fan's been following me for a while. Adam Bumgardner, a great Vol. He says our team has no fire, no passion, no heart. You're absolutely right. Alan V, a Georgia fan in here. Supreme Being, Killamime. He says Charlotte's a juggernaut. Herbert Bradford's a great Vol fan. I'm trying to scan back up here. This new computer's hard to deal with. Billy Cole Jr., Russ Marinor's in here. Both those guys have been watching me since last year. College Football Talk is in here. Let's see who else is in here. Darkness God. Shane Bentley's always in here. That's all I can scroll back, I'm sure. Oh, Salty Dog. Salty Dog followed me for a while. Hound Dog, David Johnson, Rhonda Orr. She follows me pretty regular. Anyway, that's all I can scroll back to because my computer's down. But what do you think about this Alabama LSU game before I have to cut this thing short?
Well, think that it's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be the best defense that Alabama's seen all year. I think this is also going to be the best quarterback that LSU has seen all year. So I think Tua having to throw over and around their cornerback is going to show you just how good they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Being in Death Valley is a huge advantage for LSU. LSU does really well at home. Night game is going to be super. And I think crowd noise is going to play a factor. I don't think Tua's played in front of a crowd with this kind of championship game, which was the biggest game of his career, was a fight. And I mean, Georgia and Alabama are very close together. A ton of Georgia fans, a ton of Alabama fans. This is going to be predominantly LSU fans. It's going to be super. See how he deals with it. It's going to pressure for him, I think. And I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that LSU is going to win by 3.
Oh, my goodness. LSU win by 3. Well, you know, Tua hadn't played in the fourth quarter. At least I don't think he has. He hasn't thrown an interception. I think he's the best player in college football. Here's what I think. Either Tua is going to go into the next galaxy and just no stopping him, or he's going to come back to earth, bring Alabama fans back to earth. One of the two things are going to happen. But I think it's going to be a great game. It's fixing to kick off. But anyway, everybody go find Big Dog Brett. One great guy, great Georgia Bulldog video maker. Let's get him some subs. Support his channel. All the Bulldog fans that support me, go support Big Dog Brett. And I'm going to get out of here because I know everybody is wanting to watch that Alabama LSU game. And Russ says Catfish is they're recovering from Hurricane Michael in Florida Panhandle. Be praying for Russ and them. And anyway, I'm going to get off here, Big Dog Brett, and I appreciate you calling in. Keep calling, and thanks for your support, buddy.
Yes, sir. Good game today, gentlemen. Good day.
All right. Well, anyway, y'all know what's coming next. We've got Kentucky next week. I've got me a victory cigar. I'm going to start talking some trash. I'm going to start chirping. I don't care what kind of performance we just had against Charlotte. I'm going to be firing this up against Kentucky. It might not be before the game, but I will be enjoying this $10 cigar next week against Kentucky. So, y'all know what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in. Go Vols. We're going to a bowl game, and we're beating Kentucky. I promise you that.